The National Party has accused the government of a conspiracy and a cover-up in response to the Prime Minister's office admitting it knew 2 years ago about the email that eventually got Stuart Nash sacked.
Despite an official information request, from the Newsroom website, officials chose not to release the email because they say Nash was acting as an MP when he sent it, not a minister.
That's even though he was acting as a minister when he took part in the cabinet discussion he leaked to his donor. Political reporter Amelia Wade has more.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a super sarcastic campaign calling on the Prime Minister to introduce pay transparency laws.
Chris, our sausage roll-loving saint.
Though it was a very different issue of transparency dogging him today about why Stuart Nash's now infamous email leaking cabinet details to donors was not released 2 years ago.
I think a mistake was clearly made here, but ultimately that does not distract from the fact that ultimately this was Stuart Nash's information release. It was Stuart Nash who wrote the email. It was Stuart Nash who should have known that he had done these things and should have alerted me to them.
And it was Stuart Nash who paid the price for sending that email, getting the sack on Tuesday. Today, the focus changed to who knew what about the email and when. The PM's office releasing a timeline showing on June 8, 2021, Nash's office received a request from Newsroom asking for all correspondence between himself and a list of donors. 6 weeks later, his office told the Prime Minister's Deputy Chief of Staff, Holly Donald, and a senior advisor about the email, saying they believed it was outside the scope of the request because he wasn't acting as a minister when he sent it.
These are not staff that we're trying to act in any underhanded way. They failed to recognise the significance of what was in front of them.
Heads have to roll here.
Then in March the following year, the Ombudsman, that's the official information watchdog, wrote to Nash investigating a complaint. Nash's office replied to the Ombudsman with a copy of his email, telling him the email was sent in his capacity as a Labour MP, not as a minister. But the information Nash shared with his donors was obtained around the cabinet table, and he was there because he was a minister.
They broke the law in order to keep that letter from the New Zealand public.
Has your government broken the law?
No, there has been a minister who has breached cabinet responsibility and he is no longer a minister.
The Nats going on the offensive in the House today.
With the stench swirling around their government.
Under absolute parliamentary privilege.
A culture of cover-up. A conspiracy between a minister's office and the Prime Minister's office.
I am ruling it out of order.
Nicola Willis stood up in this House and impugned the integrity of people who cannot answer back. Mr Bishop, that is a disgrace.
It's certainly not a cover-up.
The government clearly claiming this was a stuff-up rather than a cover-up.
Well, OK, Amelia, what's the Ombudsman had to say about all this?
The Chief Ombudsman discontinued his investigation into this response to the Official Information Act request in May 2020 after speaking with the journalist at Newsroom who made a complaint about it. In light of today's developments, Newshub's got a statement from the Ombudsman who says that he's going to go back to that complainant before he decides the next steps. The government says that this sequence of events needs to be seen in the context of the mountains and record-breaking number of Official Information Act requests they received after COVID, and that staff were often dealing with thousands of pages of documents. The government is also clearly piling the blame on Stuart Nash here, saying he was the one who sent the email, and ultimately it was him as the minister who signed out the response to the Official Information Act request.
OK, Amelia, thank you for that.